Right, so now that we've covered drag curls, it would be a good idea if we covered sock bun curls as well. The curls that they produce tend to be really tight at the ends and getting gradually softer all the way up because the way that you roll a sock bun, your ends are in the centre, so they're quite tight around the sock or the donut or whatever it is that you're rolling them up against. Those of you that are over on the LHC can find plenty of pictures over in the hairstyle of the month, because it was actually the hairstyle of the month in June of 2011. You can actually find plenty of videos on YouTube of how to do a sock bun, to do a fully rolled sock bun is the one that you want to do, and it's one of these hairstyles that you can actually just go about in the day before and just kind of go to sleep in it or whatever, because it just looks like a normal hairstyle really. Mine's kind of looks a bit like a messy bun. A lot of people when they're doing sock bun curls will do the sock bun right on top of their head. I tend not to. I tend to just put it where I would put a normal bun, like on the back of my head. It tends to be quite a big bun, especially if you have a lot of hair. I actually use, when I made my sock donut, I used quite a thin, quite a small sock because my hair is so thick and it's a reasonable length now, so it actually just kind of ends up too big if I use a normal one. So I'm not going to go over how to do it because you can actually find plenty tutorials on YouTube. You just need to make sure that you actually do get the one that's the fully rolled one, which is basically means that you start off with a sock at the end, or donut or whatever, at the ends of your hair, and you roll them up. I find it easier if I pin the ends of my hair down, like if I turn them over once and pin them to the rest of the hair before I roll up the rest of the sock. The other thing that some of you might want rather than curls is to have waves. The easiest way to get that is just to have braid waves, to be honest. I normally find that doing kind of twin French braids, starting as far up as you want really, I normally find that like about my crown area is probably, just above my crown area is probably easiest, and just twin braids down the back. I also find them much easier to sleep on than a single one down the back. French or Dutch doesn't matter, you still get the same result really. Now we've kind of covered most of the down options, so moving on to updos or part updos, you've actually got loads of options. If you're doing it for a wedding, you kind of want, like for your own wedding, you kind of want to plan your hairstyle, like including whether you're wanting a tiara or a veil or something, because if you're wanting a veil but you're still wanting part of your hair down, you either kind of want your veil much shorter than your hair, so you've got like a decent amount of length hanging down, or you want it to be a couple of inches longer than your hair, but then it kind of covers up your hair, so whichever you prefer. But then you could also just kind of weave bits of like veil type fabric into kind of bits of, say, a half up or something, so then you've got little bits of it coming down your hair without it actually covering your hair up. One of the things you could do for a wedding or a prom is crown braids. There are millions of options, I'm not kidding you. You can do them French, you can do them Dutch, you can do them lace, you can do 5-strand, 4-strand, box braids, whatever. You can add accent braids, pretty much as many as you like, which are just basically these teeny tiny little braids, kind of going in front of or around or whatever. Yeah, I'll try and get a photo of that for you. So anyway, that gives you the idea. You can also do a kind of style where you take off that part here and then just kind of braid one up here, lace braid using just the hair in front. Normally I find Dutch braids, well, lace Dutch braids work best for that. You can also, there's a really easy style that you can do. It's a Chinese braided one where you basically tie it off with a ponytail, stick a hair stick through it, split it into two, braid both halves, and then put each end over each end of the hair stick, and then just wrap them around as many times as you can. I normally don't, well, they don't normally stay in that well, braided ones for me, unless I use a pin of some sort. Normal ones will stay in just fine on their own, which you just basically split it into two halves and then put it over each end of the hair stick and then turn, like, twist them around each other. There's probably quite a few tutorials on YouTube for that. Goss Girl 2 has a tutorial for a loopy sideburn for long hair. The only thing is that she does use hairspray and she does straighten her ends for it. If you want to, that's fine. If you don't want to, then it's actually perfectly fine to do it without straightening your ends and without hairspray. If you use enough pins, it'll probably stay on its own. At least it does for my hair. Actually turns out quite like one of the curly type styles that you saw in the first half, like the first part of this tutorial. The only thing is, because she does it off to one side, it can get a bit heavy if you have a lot of hair or if you have really thick hair. I know that my sister had a wedding recently that she was a bridesmaid for, and she had this kind of hairstyle, only it was pretty much on the side of her head and about halfway up, and by the end of the night she felt it getting really heavy just because she'd been wearing it all day. Torn Page does two different specifically bridal or prom styles. I actually use bridal style number 1 for my prom. I don't have any photos for you, sorry about that. But they actually turn out really pretty. She has a couple of other ones. There's a super fancy updo as well, and just have a look through and see what you can find. Here for My Princess also has a bell hairstyle. The one that I found was for kind of shoulder length-ish hair that she does in her wee girl, and it uses a nylon sock. The thing with having longer hair like me, I think she does have a longer hair version on her website as well, but it uses a nylon sock as well. But the thing is, she takes these side bits and just twists them round to the back, and then puts ties them up, and then puts a nylon sock on top of them. The thing is, with our type hair, if you take a big enough bit from the top and you twist them round, by the time you get to the back, if you just bun them, then you've basically got the same, like bun them or like rope braid them and bun them or something, but you've basically got the same kind of shape as the nylon sock is for the shorter hair. So yeah, just follow the same directions really. You can even put all your hair up in a ponytail. I think that's what she does for the longer version. If you put all your hair up in a ponytail apart from these side sections that you leave down, and twist the side sections up, bun them, and then use the whole rest of the ponytail to do. You can probably find her somewhere on YouTube, I think that's where I found her. She's called Hair for My Princess. She also does a spiral French braid side ponytail. I think that's what it's called, and it's actually a really pretty braid. I saw a picture once, I think one of the girls in the LHC pointed it out to me, where they do this braid all around someone's head. It just looks like a crown braid and it looks really complex. It does, I think it would take a bit of practice to do yourself, because I can't actually do it myself. So yeah, That's about all I can think of at the moment. If there's any more hairstyles you can think of, I can probably do another part for you. Yeah, just send me a message or something. Also, if you're wanting a tutorial on the kind of half up French braid headband kind of around here, I can do one for you if you want. Just send me a message or something. Thank you, I'll see you next time.